Choose one, pause right here. Do not scroll. Do not hurry. Don't let your thoughts stray for a second, because what you're experiencing right now is not a coincidence. Something in your spirit reacted the moment your eyes fell on this message. Something deep inside you murmured, "Pay attention." That's because heaven has been waiting for the precise time when you'd slow down enough for God to speak to you personally. You believe you stumbled onto this film, but the fact is that you were steered, tugged, and dragged here by a presence that had been walking by you long before you knew you weren't alone. You've been carrying so much in quiet while trying to appear strong for everyone else. While your own heart has been exhausted, you've smiled through storms, kept your cool when no one was looking, and waged hidden battles behind closed doors. You felt like no one noticed you, yet God did. He watched the nights you grieved silently. He observed the moments when you forced yourself to keep going despite your soul's pleas for rest. He saw every hurt you attempted to hide, every worry you concealed, and every prayer you mumbled, thinking heaven would hear you. And heaven did. You spent years believing you were just coping, handling life, and doing what you had to do. However, the truth is far deeper. You don't know who you truly are. What you believed was resilience was in fact divine reinforcement. What you believed was intuition was in fact spiritual discernment. What you believed was your strength was actually God's hand bringing you through regions where your feet couldn't stand alone. Even when your body was exhausted, your soul remained active. You've been fighting invisible conflicts, interfering without realizing it, and defending others without understanding why you felt their anguish. You were spiritually awake long before your intellect could grasp the scope of your calling. That is why your heart senses things before they occur. That is why people confide in you without understanding why. That is why you enter a room and feel the atmosphere change. Heaven has been murmuring about you for years. If only they understood how much was inside them. If only they understood why darkness scared them. If only they realized how important their calling was. And today, this now, is when God stops whispering and begins revealing. You're not simply watching a video. You're being woken. Let me tell you something that will finally make sense of years of weariness, bewilderment, and emotional weight you couldn't put your finger on. Your body has grown exhausted because your soul has been working overtime. Even when you couldn't explain what you were feeling, your soul understood exactly what was going on around you. Your spirit has been standing guard, praying, interceding, sheltering, and discerning long before you had the words to explain it. That is why you feel fatigued on days when you haven't done anything. That is why you experience a sudden dip in energy while around some people. That is why you are experiencing heaviness without cause. It is not weakness, but spiritual activity. There were evenings when you lay awake, unable to sleep, looking at the ceiling, sensing something in the air, but unsure what it was. That was not anxiousness. Your spirit sensed spiritual stress. There were times when you felt compelled to pray for no apparent reason. That was no coincidence. Your spirit was responding to something heaven revealed you before your head caught up. There were times when you felt overwhelmed, but the instant you called out to God, serenity came like a torrent. That was not a fleeting relief. It was your spirit merging with its source. See, you have always felt different because you are. While others live solely via their bodily senses, you have been spiritually conscious from childhood. You can always read the room. You could tell when someone wasn't being sincere. You recognized the threat before it appeared. You could tell when someone was in pain, even if they smiled. You are not imagining it. Your spirit has been spiritually schooled, refined, and fortified by each struggle you've endured. You've carried things that others have never had to carry. You've been lifting spiritual weight that others didn't even realize existed. Because of this, your struggles have always felt heavier. Your hardships lasted longer. Your grief cuts deeper. Nonetheless, you survived. Not because your body was powerful, but because your spirit would not break. God created a warrior within you, a watchman, an intercessor, and a guardian. You don't just live life. You defend it, detect it, feel it, and move through it with an intensity that most others can never comprehend. And now, heaven is exposing the truth. Your spirit has carried you. Even on days when you couldn't carry yourself, weariness was never an indication of loss. It was proof of your spiritual power. Chosen one. Here is the truth that will finally explain the weird gravity you felt your whole life. Not every war you waged was yours. There were burdens you felt that were not related to your own life. There were unexpected surges of melancholy that were unrelated to whatever you were going through. There were times when terror struck you out of nowhere. Even when everything around you was peaceful, you weren't going insane. Your spirit was fighting conflicts long before they appeared. You sensed a battle that had little to do with your particular position and everything to do with those around you. See, your spirit is sensitive because it was meant to be. You have always known things before they happened. You've always recognized people's true intentions before they disclose themselves. You've always felt a shift in a room before anybody else does. That was not paranoia. That represented spiritual discernment. And because of this gift, God frequently used you as a shield in areas where others were vulnerable. Your presence alone has prevented attacks from reaching those who had no idea danger was there. You have stood between your family and generational disaster. You've prayed storms away from those who don't believe in prayer. You've shielded hearts from which you did not get protection. The adversary targeted you because taking you down would have revealed everyone you had unintentionally protected. Your spirit has absorbed spiritual pressures that would have crushed others. That's why your anxiety didn't reflect your reality. That's why the heaviness arrived unexpectedly. That is why you felt exhausted even though nothing was wrong. You were spiritually interceding, intercepting, and waging battles that heaven had assigned to you because God knew He could count on you. You've carried the weight of others' unsaid anguish. You sensed your loved one's anguish before they gave you the story. You sensed treachery before the knife reached your back. You picked up someone's spiritual scream from miles away and had no idea why your heart was crushed at midnight. You were not imagining such things. Your spirit was doing what it was intended to do. Stand in the gap and listen closely. The enemy did not attack you because of who you were naturally. He attacked you because of who you were spiritually. Your prayers dispel the gloom. Your presence alters atmospheres. Your spirit has authority, which hell is scared of. This explains why your life has seemed like a battlefield. You fought for greater than yourself. Take a deep breath, chosen one, and listen to this carefully. You survived events that should have broken you. You passed through seasons that would have left a normal individual in bits. You went through heartbreaks that may have permanently closed your heart. You endured betrayals that should have left you resentful. You stood in storms with the potential to drown your faith. And yet, here you are, not only standing, but developing, waking, and rising. You didn't simply make it through. You were altered by the fire. The agony that attempted to bury you became the soil in which God planted your strength. Reflect for a moment. Remember how you felt emotionally suffocated at certain seasons. When the weight on your chest became intolerable. When you questioned whether you'd ever smile again. You not only survived, but you also grew from those experiences. Every cry nurtured a new layer of toughness within you. Each setback chiseled out a deeper reservoir of insight. Every betrayal revealed who you were and who you were not. Even when you didn't realize it, the individuals who broke you brought you closer to God. You've been lied to, misunderstood, excluded, abandoned, judged, disregarded, and in some circumstances completely abused by individuals you would have given your life to defend. However, none of it damaged you. In reality, each act of brutality became a stepping stone to greater strength. The adversary intended to injure you, but God used it to awaken you. What was intended to silence you really improved your tone. The partnerships that failed were essential for your spiritual development. God did not allow certain people to stay since they were unable to travel to the next destination. And this is the reality. You seldom confess that any of the storms you survived were too much for you at the time. You weren't sure how you'd get through them. You did not feel powerful enough. You did not feel ready. You did not even feel spiritual. Some days you were just trying to breathe. However, heaven fought for you while you were unable to fight for yourself. Angels were protecting you when you thought no one cared. God was protecting you even when you wondered if he was listening. You didn't survive because you are tough. You survived because you were picked. You did not break because doing so would have disrupted God's plan for your life. Every scar you have is proof of a war you won. Every healed wound proves that nothing sent against you worked. You did not simply make it. You were held, the chosen one. Listen attentively, because this section will take you to areas you've never been able to express. You've spent years believing that the version of yourself formed by adversity, failure, trauma, and survival was the true you. But it was never who you really were. That is who you become while attempting to guard your heart. You are guarded, quiet, powerful yet fatigued, overthinking, and secluded. Those weren't your real identities. They were survival identities. Those were only transitory forms of your spirit that helped you get through seasons that were threatening to break you down. But now heaven says the season is finished. That version of you has fulfilled its purpose. It's time to meet the real you. You're not the suffering you have undergone. You are the purpose God created inside you. You are not the wounds that others have left. You are the healing God has promised. You are not the rejection that haunts you. You embody the acceptance of paradise that surrounds you. For too long, you viewed yourself through the prism of what happened to you rather than through the eyes of the one who made you. You've identified yourself with the titles that life has given you. Broken, alone, insufficient, excessive, unnoticed usage forgotten. However, heaven has a different terminology for you. Chosen, anointed, safeguarded, set apart, redeemed, reinforced, and appointed. Others merely saw a momentary version of you. The version that walked with a limp, carried wounds, remained silent to avoid confrontation, and concealed its light to keep others happy. They assessed you based on the chapter God was mending rather than the novel he was authoring. They saw your scars but not your calling. They heard your quiet but not your prayers. They misinterpreted your seclusion, not recognizing it was a spiritual separation. They felt you were weak, not realizing God was rebuilding you from the inside out. God is releasing you from the burden of every false identity. That wrath wasn't yours. Not you, it's the numbness. You are not the source of the distrust. You are not the source of your dread. These were reactions, human responses to heavenly warfare. They were the makeshift armor you donned in seasons when you didn't feel safe. But today, God is repairing the heart hidden underneath the armor. He is peeling aside the layers of survival to unveil the identity He has always put inside you. Because heaven knows who you truly are, even if the rest of the world does not. You were picked, and now your full identity is emerging. Choose one. Walk into this moment with all of your heart. Because what I'm going to tell you is more than simply encouragement. It is insight. You are entering a heavenly season in which God is removing every covering that life has placed over your identity. For years, you viewed yourself through fogged-up glass, doubtful, oblivious of the magnificence that is within you. But now, heaven is restoring your vision. God is about to unveil the true you, the you that has always existed beneath the weight, the grief, the past, and the expectations of others. This next phase in your life is not about changing your identity. It's about remembering someone old, someone God created before time existed. The real you is stronger than the storms you encountered. The real you possesses wisdom that you did not study for. The true you is spiritually acute, discriminating, and inextricably linked to heaven. The true you is sensitive without being exhausted, brave without being harsh, loving without sacrificing limits, and modest without being hidden. God is reawakening you after trauma and disappointment have faded away. He's summoning the version of you that hell hoped you'd never find. Because once you understand who you actually are, darkness loses its grip on you. This explains why you've been feeling shifted recently. Why do you no longer find certain things interesting? Why you're losing patience with drama, negativity, and superficial friendships. Why has your spirit been seeking calm, depth, truth, and stillness? That is the real you resurfacing. That represents your soul's restoration to alignment. God is divorcing you from anything that depletes your identity and connecting you to everything that fulfills your mission. This is not a loss. It is pruning. This is not isolation. It's time to prepare. This isn't nothingness. It is repositioning. And listen to this. God is about to unveil gifts inside you that you never knew existed. Clarity is approaching. Spiritual authority is growing. Your intuition is becoming sharper. Your inner tranquility is growing stronger. Your sensitivity to the Holy Spirit is growing. Doors will open that you did not knock on. Opportunities will come your way that you did not seek for. People will be drawn to the light in you for reasons they do not completely comprehend. You'll start to view yourself as heaven has always seen you. Chosen, capable, worthy, allotted, and covered. The true you is surfacing. And once this revealing occurs, you will never again compress yourself to fit into the spaces God has called you to transcend. This is a time of spiritual revelation. Your spiritual personality is emerging into the light. Chosen one, while you absorb everything said over your spirit today, I'd like you to pause and notice something sacred. This is not a random moment. This is more than just another video. This isn't background noise. This is a divine appointment. Heaven has been preparing you for this reveal. And now the Spirit of God is making a prophetic statement over your life. So, whether you raise your hands, close your eyes, or simply allow these words to settle into your soul, accept them with all of your spirit. You've been through too much, suffered too much, prayed too much, and weathered too many seasons of stillness for this moment not to mean anything. God is not only soothing you, He is claiming identity over you. In the tremendous name of Jesus, I announce that every buried strength inside you is coming to the surface. What was previously considered inert will become active. What was previously unclear will become obvious. Every spiritual talent that has been hidden inside you, including insight, knowledge, authority, peace, compassion, and bravery will be fully realized. I announce that the weight you've been carrying, the burden that has been on your shoulders for years, is now tearing your spirit apart. You are entering a state of liberation that will feel like your first breath. Freedom from past scars, phobias, identities, and expectations. I announce that God's hand is lifting every generational load you have borne deliberately or unknowingly. Cycles that have run through your family will end with you. Patterns that rob others will not affect your life. Attacks that were intended to break you will become testimonials that lift you. I vow that every blessing bearing your name, every open door, every divine connection, every breakthrough, every opportunity, and every answered prayer will come to you easily and plainly. You will not miss what God has planned. You will not lose what God has sealed. Chosen one, this is the season when your identity and destiny coincide. You'll walk differently. You'll speak differently. You'll think differently. Not because you want to improve yourself, but because your soul is discovering who you actually are. You're not ordinary. You're not arbitrary. You're not forgotten. God chose, anointed, assigned, and covered you. If this message spoke to you, please keep in contact. Subscribe to this channel to ensure that these prophetic words continue to guide your journey. If the Holy Spirit leads you, you may assist this ministry by using the super thanks or contribution link. Never necessary, but always appreciated. God bless you, selected one. Your actual personality is emerging, and heaven is applauding you.